Hi, I'm Christine. Welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you've never been here before. So in today's video, I'm here to wrap up the last half of October. So for all of October, I ended up reading 48 books. I already have the first half of the month where I talk about the 30 books I read during the first half of October in another video. So I will link that in the description of this video because I won't be chatting about those ones here. But in today's video, I'm here to wrap up the 18 that I read for the last half of the month. So I definitely didn't read too many in the last half of the month. I was getting ready for the 11 Vegas book signing, which is why my voice is kind of gone. I came back from that. So the week before, I kind of didn't read too many. I was so busy packing and making sure I had everything and my mind was like elsewhere. And then on the trip, I didn't read it all the entire weekend. Like I only read on the plane going down. So I don't have too many books to wrap up for the last half of the month. So first up, I read Princess by Claire Kent, and this is the second book in her Kindled series, which is a post-apocalyptic series. I ended up giving this one 4 stars. It is a really fun one. It is between like a bodyguard situation and the heroine. So in this one, the heroine's father was a billionaire, and before the world kind of got destroyed from this like impact that happened and took out most of the world and definitely messed it up, her father was able to purchase her and him like a place like kind of in like a bunker, or like 200 people were able to survive through the impact. So the bunker had like separate apartments, a private gym, like movie theater, a library, a garden, greenhouses, a school, like a bowling alley, like all of those things in there. And it had like food and supplies to last everybody for 5 years who were going to be living in there. The hero ends up being like this hired security bodyguard type of guy staying there as well. And so the heroine, like a few years in, her father ends up passing away. So she kind of formed this friendship with her bodyguard. So they spend a lot of time together. There is an age gap. There's kind of that whole forbidden aspect because he is her bodyguard. The author of this series definitely does really great like broody, overprotective heroes really well, which really worked for me. So I really enjoyed this one. I like seeing all the dangers and kind of the hope that's still out there for a lot of these people in that kind of like survival world that they're living in. And we get to see some of the couples and characters from the previous books in the series, which is a lot of fun. So yeah, 4 stars for this one. It's a great series to check out if you enjoy post-apocalyptic romance series. Next up, I read A Little Too Wild by Daphne Perry. This is the 3rd book and the final book in the Madigan Mountain series that she did a collab with Rebecca Yarros and Serena Bowen. This one I ended up giving it 3 stars. It was not my favorite in the series, sadly, which my favorite was actually the Rebecca Yarros one in the series. But basically the series follows 3 brothers. They're the Madigans, and their family owns like this ski chalet resort in Colorado. And so all of them haven't been home in like 10 to 12 years. And now it's them coming back and kind of taking over the ski chalet that their father is wanting to sell and get rid of. So in this one, the hero is like a snowboarder. He's like Olympic gold winner and all of that. And he decides to come back to the resort. And then it's his relationship with his best friend's sister. And so they have a history and all of that going on as well. And then this one, the heroine, she actually runs the ski school at the resort as well. So they're both kind of snowboarders and skiers, which is fun to see. They end up striking up like a friends with benefits situation at the wedding of one of his brothers at the very beginning of the story. And then they jump into that. This one, as you know, around here, I love Daphne Perry books. I've read almost all of hers. I only need to read 3 of her holiday novellas. So I read her entire backlist, all of her Will and Nash books. And this one just kind of missed some of the like charm and I don't know, like extra oomph that I was looking for. I did like that the hero was the one crushing on the heroine first. Like she didn't even realize that he had a crush on her in high school. So that was kind of fun. But this one was just okay. The romance wasn't anything special or extraordinary. So yeah, that's why I gave it 3 stars. Next up is Belladonna by Adeline Grace. I ended up giving this one 4.5 stars and I really enjoyed it. This is a YA fantasy. This one I had heard so many rave reviews from friends ahead of time, so I was definitely going in with high expectations, but it's one of those books that definitely lived up to it. This has that death and maiden trope, which I really enjoy and really liked in this. I really loved the relationship between Death and Signa, the main heroine of the story. Their chemistry and encounters were always just like so good together, and I was just living it for the tension. I love the entire like gothic vibe and kind of the poison and intrigue going on in the story as well. This one definitely grabbed my attention right from the start. I listened to the audio, which was a great time. I think the story did kind of drag a little bit in the middle for me, but it picked right back up and I really enjoyed it. This kind of gave me the same vibes as The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue, which I also loved. So if you like that one, I think you'll like this as well. Next, I read Haunting Adeline by H.D. Carlton. This is the first book in her cat and mouse duet. I ended up giving this one 3 stars. This one was just okay for me. It was fine. I was expecting a lot more. I was expecting a lot more dark. I was expecting like just all of these things and it kind of fell flat for me. Well, it does handle some darker themes. I guess I was expecting it to be darker and to be more than what it actually was. To me, like the darker elements of this was what the hero was dealing with and kind of trying to take down this sex trafficking child ring thing going on. The romance though was just kind of lacking. Like one day the hero walks by a bookstore and he sees a poster of an author who is the heroine, and he's like instantly intrigued, instantly wants to know her. So he walks in and he's like instantly just obsessed with the author who is there signing the day that he sees her. So he starts stalking her. And then the heroine side, she has actually just recently moved into her grandmother's house and is kind of going through her great-grandmother's, I believe, like diary and stuff like that. So we do get some flashbacks and some moments in the past that kind of, you know, coincide with what's going on in her life, which to me, I actually enjoyed the whole like mystery intrigue going on with her great grandmother's diary and kind of like a stalker situation that she had. But yeah, it was just fine. Like it kind of leaves off at a cliffhanger, but like I wasn't interested enough to continue. So yeah, 3 stars for this one. Next, I read Surrendering to Hunt by Jennifer Ryan. I was actually sent this from the like marketing team publisher. This one was just okay. I gave it like 2.5 stars. Basically in this, the heroine is the purple-haired heroine, and she is like more of a rebel, and the hero is kind of like a lawman or a policeman, and he is definitely by the book, and so it ends up being their romance together as they try to find her sister who is missing, who is also in like a domestic abuse relationship. This one was very heavy on the abusive relationship that the heroine's sister was in with her like husband or fiance. This one was fast-paced while they kind of go on this adventure together to try to track down her sister and her missing like baby niece. I definitely wanted more. There's steam in here, which I was actually surprised by and liked, but like I wanted more from the romance and the relationship instead. So yeah, 2.5 stars for this. Next, I read Blood Moon by Gillian Graves, and I ended up giving this one 4 stars. This one was a great like rivals turned lovers. There is a 6-foot plus size heroine witch, which I loved, and the hero is a vampire. I love that the heroine is the grumpy one and the hero is the sunshine one. This is a one night stand, kind of one encounter that leads to more. The hero and the heroine actually meet at a party in a bathroom and they hook up, and then afterwards they realize that they are rivals. So he actually owns the club that is across the street from her business, and so they're rivals and have that going on. This was just a quick novella. It delivers on the steam, delivers on the chemistry, delivers on the magic and the charm. There's also some praise kink and blood play and biting and exhibitionism happening, which I really enjoyed. So yeah, this was just a fun, quick novella, and I gave it 4 stars. Next, I read Riding the Headless Horseman, gave this one 3 stars. It is a very quick Halloween novella. This one is definitely exactly what it appears to be from the cover and the name. It is a Sleepy Hollow inspired Headless Horseman kind of kink. So in this one, the heroine is a witch, and she actually ends up getting taken by the Headless Horseman on Halloween night. He throws her over his shoulder on his horse and kind of takes her away to this other realm that he lives in. This one started off a little bit rough, but once they're together, I really enjoyed it. Their connection was actually really sweet and just a fun time. This one has some spanking, some light BDSM, and some wax play. For being 50 pages, like it definitely delivered and was fun. These next 7 books I read were part of the historical romance readathon, so I have an entire vlog for that, which I will link in the description of this video so you can check it out there. I will quickly go through the books that I read and the star ratings, but if you want more of my thoughts, I review all of them in that video. So first up is Rebellion by Nora Roberts. This is my first Nora Roberts read. In this one, the heroine is Scottish, the hero is English, and he is her brother's best friend. Gave it 4 stars. Next up is Jewel by Beverly Jenkins. I gave this one 4.5 stars. So this one is a friends turned fake relationship, fake engagement, fake marriage, marriage of convenience, romance. I gave this one 4.5 stars. A great time. Next, I read Yours Until Dawn by Teresa Medeiros. Here is the step back of this one. This is a Beauty and the Beast retelling. Gave it 5 stars, one of my new favorites. Next is Wild Sweet Love by Beverly Jenkins. So in this one, the heroine is a former outlaw. Gave this one 4 stars, really enjoyed it. Then Before the Dawn by Beverly Jenkins, gave this one 3.5/4 stars. In this one, the heroine had to marry a man right before he ended up passing away, who that man was in love with her mom growing up and kind of treated her as a daughter. So he had her marry him just to kind of take care of her after he passed away. And so he wanted her to go find his estranged sons once he passes. And so the heroine, it ends up being her romance with one of her new stepsons. So yeah, there's a hate to love situation going on at first because the hero assumes that the heroine married his dad for money and all of that, but like without knowing their relationship. Next, I read Nobody's Duke by Scarlett Scott. I ended up giving this one 5 stars. I really loved it as a second chance bodyguard romance. The heroine is widowed and then her life is in danger as well as her son's, and the hero ends up getting assigned to take care of her. So it is their romance. Love the flashbacks, love the romance in this one. Then I read Mogul by Joanna Shoup. This is the last book in her Knickerbocker Club series, and it was the last book that I had to read to be caught up in her entire backlist. I ended up giving this one 4 stars. This one is a second chance romance between a formerly married couple, as the heroine has to reach out to the hero to kind of help her in finding her missing brother. Then I read an arc of Resting Witch Face, which is the 5th book in the Stay a Spell series by Juliet Cross. This book is out now. It just came out on Halloween. I gave it 5 stars and really enjoyed it. This one is a second chance romance between the witch heroine and the vampire hero, and their romance has been built up throughout the entire series. I've been waiting for their book since book 1, and it definitely delivered for me. This one, they haven't been together for 12 years, and I loved seeing them work together, and the hero being the one who's like, I'm tired of giving you like time and space, like I'm ready to win you back, and he wins her back. I love learning more about the werewolves and the vampire history and kind of this paranormal world that Juliet Cross has created. I love the deep connection between the hero and heroine and kind of them falling back into that really easily. There's a lot of traveling and only one bed situation going on. I love that they're both very possessive over one another throughout the entire time, even when they're apart. The hero is definitely ultimate book boyfriend material because he is loyal to the heroine throughout the entire time they've been apart. And I really liked seeing the heroine. I definitely understood her. She is one who always kind of takes on all the burdens of her siblings and everybody around her. And so it's nice to see her finally have a partner that she can kind of share some of the burdens of life with and kind of, have him to look after and protect her. And the biting in this was like chef's kiss, loved it. So yeah, 5 stars for Resting Witch Face. Then I was sent by the PR team A Million Kisses in Your Lifetime by Monica Murphy. I sadly gave this one 2.5 stars. It really wasn't for me. I didn't realize before going in it that the entire book is a like high school relationship situation. So yeah, it's a chunky book, it just wasn't for me. And then I read King of Wrath by Anna Huang. This is the new book in her Kings of Sin series, book 1. I ended up giving this one 4 stars and I really enjoyed it. This is a contemporary arranged marriage situation that really worked for me. This one kind of had elements of like a fake engagement, fake relationship as well, since the couple have to pretend and be engaged to each other for like a year before they end up getting married. So basically the hero is a billionaire and he owns like a jewelry company, and then he ends up having to marry or fake marry his enemy's daughter. This one I loved the forced proximity because they move in together really quickly. I thought this one was nicer than some of Anna Huang's Twisted books because those ones got a little bit long for me, but this one I thought was like the perfect length, and it definitely has moments on page that you see, and then there's a lot happening off page that we don't see, but I kind of liked how that balance was there. I like that he's a possessive, protective hero. They have some traveling moments together, which was fun to see. There are some moments toward the end that I wasn't really a fan of how the heroine reacts to a certain situation, but thankfully that didn't last very long, and I liked how the hero becomes the pursuer and the one who's trying to, win her back. So yeah, definitely a great start to the series, and I gave it 4 stars. And then lastly, I ended up reading The Kraken's Sacrifice by Katie Robert. This is the second book in her Deal with the Demon series, and I sadly gave this one 2.5 stars. So Katie Robert has kind of been hit and miss for me lately, and every time though when she puts out a new cover, like I'm obsessed with it, especially these like old school historical monster covers. I really love them, but yeah, they just end up not working for me very well. Basically in this one, the heroine is a human woman who signs this contract to kind of live in the demon realm, and it's her romance with the hero. He's a Kraken, but the entire time he's kind of grieving his husband's death from like 5 years ago. So this one is a shorter read. It definitely does move fast. I liked how the heroine was very open with her sexuality right away and like ready for anything that the hero wants to give her. But yeah, this one was just okay. We do see characters from the rest of the series make appearances in this. I just wasn't pulled into the characters, sadly. I did like that the ending, the couple wants to remain child-free, so that was kind of a bonus to see. But just know that this does deal with an accidental pregnancy and abortion on page as well. Like, it was just an okay Kraken romance. I've definitely read better. So yeah, I gave it like 2.5, 3 stars. So those are all the books I read for the second half of October. Let me know in the comments if you've read any of the ones I read, or maybe what your favorite read for October was. I would love to chat about it. If you haven't done so yet, make sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss out on any of my future videos, and I'll see you in my next one.